Welcome everyone. We'll begin. Chris, would you lead us on the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome everyone. We'll get started. Let's go to item 1.03, approval of the agenda.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the regular board meeting agenda for November 15th, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No one opposed? Thank you. And
And I'll entertain a motion under 1.04 to approve the minutes of the November 1st, 2021 meeting.
Second.
all those in favor? Aye. No one opposed? Thank you. Which brings us to the student body report. Regina?
Yes, very short tonight, short and sweet, keep it simple. Our high school athletes won their first meet of the season. It was held in Lethbridge a couple of weeks ago. We beat Livonia by 20 points. That was a big victory. It's always Livonia.
It's the school of the future.
Winter sports started today for JV varsity. That's basketball, swim, wrestling, hockey, skiing, cheer. A lot. The boys basketball team's in the gym right now. From what I've heard at rehearsal, everything went well. My practice went great. I'm going to be sore tomorrow. The music department is prepping for in-person concerts. It seems like all concerts are going to be in the auditorium with the exception of the chorus concert, which will be held in the gym due to the number of participants in chorus. And then the winter showcase for drama club is on Saturday at 7. Free admission with donations are welcome. We are in tech right now. I am mic'd up, so if Sydney picks up my mic at rehearsal, they will hear my entire report. Fingers crossed that she didn't. That's about it. Are there any questions?
Regina, do you know if there'll be patrons, opportunity to be patrons for
I think there will
this?
be in the spring for our musical.
Okay.
This one wasn't like a play.
Gotcha,
It was
okay.
different, so I'm sure there will be in the spring.
Very
I'll have
good.
to talk to you.
Great, looking forward to getting that. Okay, good, thank
Any
you.
other questions? Great. I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
head back down.
Thank
Thank
you very much. Jamie?
Okay, for middle school, the middle and high school student council are in the process of planning a spirit week before the holiday break. The students are really excited because we're planning a winter dance on Saturday, December 18th. That's what's in plan. Yorkers recently made holiday cards for veterans for the Canandaigua VA. And middle school students attended a Veterans Day assembly last Wednesday during 5th period. During this time, local veterans shared their experiences with the middle school. At the assembly, the winners of the Patriots Pen Essay Contest were announced. Congratulations to Ava Davidson, Jamie Farrell, Allison Fowler, Jonah Levy, and Juliette West, all in 7th grade. And for sports, Modified Girls Basketball has had a few games already this season. Both the 7th and 8th grade have done very well so far, and there's still more to come. Any questions?
Great job.
That's a very good report.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great. Okay, which brings us to the superintendent.
Okay. Well, you'll see in my report that Regina seems to have the inside line, and she always has a more entertaining report, but I think she might even have further of an update for me in regards to our concert. So, as she mentioned, we did have our Veterans Assembly or celebration on last Wednesday. It was a beautiful day, and it was such a nice event. Miss Downs does a great job with the elementary students, and then the middle school had a wonderful celebration in the auditorium later that day. But just our school community does a great job of recognizing and honoring our veterans, and it was a wonderful day. So we've been talking about our Test to Stay program. I talked about at the last board meeting that Livingston County had started the pilot, and I said as soon as we were able to participate, we would. And a little bit further on, I'll share some numbers of why we are participating in the Test to Stay. So we did start today. We tested 4 families this morning. And John, can I click on that link, or do you need to?
Let me do it from this side.
Okay. So what I did is, the test to stay is, I don't want to say the rules are changing, but as we navigate this process, we learn more on a day-to-day basis. So what I am doing is I do have on our website a COVID-19 button on our new website. You click on that and it'll take you right there. So on our main page, you click on COVID-19. And then it says click here to see the protocol for participating in the Test to Stay program. And it's important that it's written because, like I said, it's very specific. You can only participate in Test to Stay if it's a school exposure. Meaning if you were at a family gathering on Saturday and found out on Monday that Aunt Lucy was positive, you cannot participate in the Test to Stay. It has to be a school exposure.
Okay.
You have to be asymptomatic. So anytime you exhibit any symptoms, you can no longer participate. And if you're vaccinated, you do not need to participate in Test to Stay. You are not considered a close contact. You're able to return to school. The other piece that's important to remember is if you have a household positive. So my two children, if one of them is positive, the other child cannot come to school because of a household positive, and they can't participate in Test to Stay. So the county is really, working with us to navigate, what in this scenario makes sense. As we need to, we'll update and change this, but we wanted it in writing so that when people had this option given to them, that they could access on the website. So what is happening is once students are identified as close contacts in our school, 99% of the students are identified in lunch, because that's really the only time that they are unmasked at school. The parents are given the option to participate in Test to Stay. So this morning, Heidi Mueller and I met 4 families, and we did test for students who were all negative, so they were able to participate in their day. The other piece I wanted to talk about was, in the original letter, it said that you would not be able to participate in extracurriculars or athletics. And the Livingston County Superintendent Group had a conversation with Livingston County Department of Health, and after a good discussion, we decided that if we have tested in the morning, they are allowed to participate in their extracurriculars and athletics. So I was happy that that was the result of that. So we're up and running, and I hope we have good results with the Test to Stay program.
How many days in a row do they have to test?
Good question. They have to test 7 days in a row.
Oh.
One of the things, so 7 days in a row of the school week. So at some point, the weekend is going to fall in there, and we don't have to test on vacations or on the weekends.
So
However, so it's 7 days, 7 school days.
Oh, 7 school days, okay.
Yeah. Right, but a couple of those days are going to fall. It's 7 days, but you only have to test on school days.
Oh, okay.
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 But if day 6 or 7 falls on Saturday or Sunday, they are recommending a test on Monday just to make sure.
Okay, all right.
So, but more to come, and if anyone has questions, please refer them to that website.
Okay, let me,
If it's only a school exposure, then they're not gonna have a Sunday school exposure, so it's not gonna happen, right?
So it's not about necessarily a Sunday exposure. So say they tested day 1 through 5. Day 6 is Saturday, they're not testing. Day 7 is Sunday, they're not testing.
Mhm.
They're recommending that we should
I
still.
follow that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I misunderstand your question?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's not.
so the in-school exposure to make you eligible for this, 2 students are sitting next to each other in the cafeteria, 1 tests positive.
Correct.
And that means the youngster next to him is eligible for
Yes.
this.
Yes.
And
That's
that's
correct.
probably how it's gonna work for the most part, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Okay.
if they're negative, they can come to school that day, no symptoms, and then the next day keep coming, as long as they're negative, no
For
symptoms.
7
Correct.
days.
Yep.
Thanks.
That's good. Okay.
We're still offering the option for kids who, not test to stay, but who were sick today, 24 hours are symptom-free. Will the nurses still be able to test those students?
Yes, we're,
Okay.
rapid tests. We are rapid tests,
Okay.
Anybody that requests tests, we are providing those tests. It really is in our best interest to do so. because if we can keep a positive case outside of school, we are keeping our students, at risk from exposure and also having to quarantine anybody.
And results are in 15 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the Outback.
Okay.
Outback?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
All right.
So parents drive up in their car, I go out with a clipboard, there's, if they haven't already sent in the consent form that was sent home to them on Friday, we have a consent form there, they have to fill out a testing sheet. We write down the student's name on the card, write the time, set a timer, and away we go.
Okay.
Huh.
Definitely an aspect of my job I didn't know.
I was gonna
was
say
doing,
that.
But, it's okay.
So, do you have to do this, or, I mean, it
Well,
seems like,
so, I wanted
or
to.
you choose to do it? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm choosing to do it,
Okay.
and I'll tell you why, David.
Okay.
Permanent backup.
When you get to
Yeah,
our,
yeah.
so as I said, 14 families tested this morning, and we've offered it to 5 other families today, because we did identify more. The reason I'm offering it, if you can see, we have 11 positive students
Okay.
in the elementary building, and we have 37 students quarantined.
Okay, okay.
So that's why I'm choosing to do this testing. We're working on 2 different options. One would be creating a job description and doing a posting to hire someone to potentially do 4 to 5 hours a day, starting with that testing in the morning. But then there's also a lot of paperwork that both school nurses could have assistance with. The testing and the contact tracing and the documentation of this whole process has become pretty overwhelming.
Sure.
So we are looking at 2 different things. We also, as you know, contract with WorkFit to do our testing on Fridays.
Oh,
Does it make sense to talk to WorkFit to do some more medical type assistance to both of our nurses, let them do that paperwork piece? So we are working and looking at 2 different options. But I wanted to get this program started as soon as possible, because as you'll see, our numbers are increasing, neighboring school districts' numbers are increasing, and,
So is it confined, in our case, is it confined primarily to the elementary? And I guess the same question for the other districts.
so we are seeing more positives in the elementary. Here's the middle school, high school data. We have 4 positives, and we have 5 students quarantined.
Okay.
So when you look at our totals, 13 overall. We have 4 staff, that's across K-12 district, and then 2 quarantined. So Livingston County, when you look at the numbers, elementary at Livonia has 12 positives, and in their middle school, high school, it's their high school. So it isn't consistent.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
And where we found these numbers was on their website, so it's not like we're sharing information that was
Right.
in a confidential meeting. This is on their website. Now, Dansville does follow our pattern. They have 20 in the elementary, and then 9 in each middle school, or excuse me, in the high school, and then 9 positive staff members. So, as a region, we are concerned about the numbers in the sense that they are increasing. Last year at this time, we had just started to see a few positive cases, and after Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving and January, that is when we really saw our biggest peak. So, again, that is why I felt like I needed to get this program up and running, have our
Yeah.
kids in school as much as possible. Now, as I said, it's not only our numbers, but everyone in the region is seeing an increase. Mount Morris Central has sent out a notice saying that the Monday and Tuesday after Thanksgiving, they will do remote. And the thought process is families are together on Thursday. Symptoms would you'd start to see the symptoms if you were COVID positive by Wednesday, so you would know to get tested and not come into school, not bring the case in there. We've been talking about that as an admin team. Is that something we think we need to do? Allison actually reached out and offered help and said, listen, how can GFA help? We want to make sure that we're all on the same page. At this point, we want to stay open. We want to make sure that we're safely remaining open. So we are not looking to go remote, but it is something that every day, as we look at those numbers, we are considering. Allison can confirm that every day subs is an issue in both elementary and middle school. Whether it's a staff member home with a sick child, not necessarily a COVID sickness, but anytime there's any sort of sickness right now, students aren't allowed in school. So You know,
Is there a particular number or threshold we gotta hit to before you make that decision?
Not really, because what happens, Mike, if it's spread out across the district, we can handle a pretty significant number of
Yeah.
positives. It really will come down to if we can't transport our kids, for whatever reason, if something were to happen in the bus garage. That happened last year to a district where there were a couple of positives and then an entire group of bus drivers had to quarantine. That forced them to go remote. So in that situation, that could be like 5 people. So it's hard to say what a number is. If we had 9 faculty members here and they're positive, that's gonna become difficult for us to remain open and stay staffed. So it's hard to set a number because of how that impacts us.
You'd also take into consideration, you know what I mean, if a certain number of staff within the cafeteria goes down, or cleaning goes down?
Yep,
that?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So, as Regina said, we do have our holiday concerts and drama productions in person. We are excited, and we've done a lot of planning for that. You know, as we've been planning for our in-person, it has caused us to look at, at different things. So for the elementary, Ms. Downs has already sent out her directions on how she's going to be able to offer her concerts in person. Students must be 6 feet apart. Masks must be worn at all times. Audience members are limited to 4 per child. The times are staggered, so she has her concerts throughout the day. She has 6 to 6:30, 6:45 to 7:15, so they're staggered so that she can allow for social distancing. As Regina mentioned, the middle school, high school concerts are still in the planning phase, and this is for a good reason. We have 102 students in our middle school course. And so our middle school, high school course, we can't fit 102 kids on our stage and socially distance them. So we are considering the gym. Hopefully that will be an option. The other thing that we are starting to do is we are allowing community groups to use our facility again. As you know, we have desks in our cafeteria to serve our lunches. That was the only way that we could socially distance our students and feed the number of students that we have to because of our schedule, one cafeteria shared by both elementary, middle school, high school. And if you walk in there, it is, the first time you see it, you're a little overwhelmed by just the number of desks that are in the cafeteria. So to the best of our ability, we are allowing community groups to utilize the building. As you know, or may not know, but the Boy Scouts has a pretty large event here during non-COVID time. So they typically do the farm show. And if you've ever been to that, the amount of merchandise that they bring in is unbelievable. But then it also draws a very large audience. And typically what happens in our cafeteria, we have tables which fold up, wheel out, and you easily have access to the whole space of the cafeteria. This year, we don't have the place to store our desk. We don't have time to move our desk out. And during that weekend, we have 3 basketball games going on at the same time. Mercury Swim is practicing, and then we also have SATs. So unfortunately, I did have to decline the Boy Scouts from using our facility at this time. Did give them the contact for the Armory, had reached out to a neighboring school district and told them that as soon as we are not confined to these COVID-19 protocols, we want them back in our district. Unfortunately, this year is not the year. And I'm sure they're disappointed. It's a huge event. I hope that they're able to have it, if not at the Armory, at Livonia Central School District. Because if you remember, Livonia does have a whole school that they no longer utilize on a daily basis. So I'm hopeful that they'll be able to utilize a different space for that.
Good.
And then last but not least, we did have our board retreat last Monday. Good conversation about superintendent and Board of Education relationship. We also talked about for future board meetings, really having different topics to hear more about, have our principals, have our teachers really come and do presentations about what is happening in our classrooms, what is happening K-12. I am very proud of the fact that despite all the challenges that COVID-19 presents, we are moving forward in many of these different areas. We're making a lot of progress. It is hard. People are tired, but they are doing what's best for kids every day. So really showcasing what we're doing here, and just looking forward to having you learn more about the programs that we have here at GCS. And that is it. Any questions?
Excellent, excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Item 4, do anyone wish to speak?
Alice, can you get that hour presentation that you were going to work on today?
Okay, well, this brings us to committee reports, starting with audit and finance,
We met-
Mike's committee.
Yeah, we met tonight at 6, and a couple of quick topics. We just talked through some of the state and other funding that is coming our way and some of the potential areas that will be looked at in terms of providing funds for that once we know a little bit more. Mental health, various categories along those lines to support the challenges we received from COVID. Additionally, we talked through some of the future budget related issues, one of which we will keeping our eye on is related to the healthcare and potential increase of somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 25% year over year. So more to follow on those topics. We'll meet again in what's this?
In
Whatever
2
the
weeks?
next
Yeah,
first
December
meeting in
6th.
December is.
Mhm. December 6th.
Great. Questions for Mike's committee? Okay, policy committee, we met today. Thank you to Sherry for starting us off and leading us with a number of policies to review and getting for us the required policies that every district has to have. And we're thinking about 50% of that book is unnecessary. So we will be looking at eliminating the policies that we don't need. Tonight we looked at the section dealing with appointments and designations that we do on the organizational meeting, duties of the school nurse and physician, and duties of the internal auditor. And under the section 1338, duties of school physicians, it lists item I that requires a physical for all new employees. Well, we don't require a physical for all new employees. So we'll be eliminating that section, but it has to go through the same procedures that we do with new policies, you know, first reading, second reading, third reading. So you'll be seeing that. And you'll also be seeing, as time goes on, a list of policies that we're going to eliminate, and based on the procedure for doing it. So we're making headway. It's boring work, but it's got to be done, and we are going to get it done and get that policy book down to a reasonable point. And again, thanks to Sherry for your help and Cindy. And we'll get there. So, any questions? Pretty mundane, but we'll do it. Which brings us to GCEF. I don't think
Nothing
there's
new.
really nothing new to report on that. So we'll go right to personnel.
So a lot under personnel. Entertain a motion to approve items 6.02 through 6.17.
Second?
A lot of items there. Questions on any of those?
Just one, under the coach for JV football. Oh, I'm sorry, just JV basketball. Never mind. I thought he was going to coach football.
Got it.
Good, okay. Don't know.
I'm good.
Ice advisor. We've got a new school bus driver. lifeguard, volunteer. We're losing a bus attendant. Anyway,
One of them's transferred.
Mhm.
right, correct. Any questions on any of those? If not, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No one opposed, thank you. So we'll go to,
Under the new business
New business.
section, entertain a motion, consent motion for approval of items 7.02, 7.03.
Second?
Wait a minute, is there, someone else see 7.04 on mine? Okay, it's not on 4, okay, it's in the,
just the one? All right,
okay. So we have it here, real fast. Okay. So 7.02 and 3.
Just a second.
I second.
Wait a second. Questions on those two items?
Second.
Okay. It's the merged hockey team
Mhm.
and the CSE, CPSE approval. Everybody good? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously, thank you. That's it, right?
That is it.
No need for an executive session tonight. Oh,
With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No one opposed?
No one opposed to adjourn.
Thank you very much, everyone.
All right.
Yeah.